Welcome to Research Talk. I hope you all are doing well. In our previous video, we talked about research design which are used in case studies. We started with single case research design. And if you remember, we talked about holistic single case research design and embedded single case research design. So in holistic single case design, you have one case. It could be an event, a phenomenon, a program, a single case. And then you go deeper into that holistically as a whole unit, and you explore in depth whatever phenomenon, whatever case that you are exploring there. And then in embedded design, what you do in one case, you focus on some subunits of the case. So you are understanding the case holistically, but you are specifically focusing on some subunits. Now, let's learn another research design, which is also very common in research. So with single case, now we can move to multiple case research design. And in multiple case research design, as the word itself says, multiple cases. So here you have single case, now you can have multiple case research design. In multiple case research design, just like the holistic and embedded design, we can do the same. So you can have holistic and you can have embedded. So in multiple case research design, unlike the previous design where you have one case, one participant, one event, one program, so you are dealing with single case. Here you will have multiple cases. So it could be multiple programs, multiple people, multiple events. So you are having multiple cases that you are investigating. So let's say you have case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4. Let's look at it with an example. Let's say I want to understand a health program in a county which is implemented by a government. So I want to check the effect, I want to explore how effective that program is. So I can start with case 1, which is one county, and then I can select another county where this program is being implemented, another district or county. So what I'm doing multiple cases. So case 1 is, let's say, district 1 or district 2, district 3, district 4. And then, as you could see, you go deeper into this holistically in one case. And then what we do, which is additional from the previous design, is we do comparative analysis. Since we have more than one cases, then obviously comparative analysis. Comparative analysis, you are considering each case separately. You are exploring the case, you are collecting the data, you are analyzing the data, and you have your findings. Similarly, you are again collecting from case 2, and you are analyzing the data, and then subsequently for other cases. And then you are doing some comparative analysis towards the end to see how these cases are similar, different, what they have some additional or maybe just very similar from each other. So you are engaged in comparative analysis because you are having access to multiple cases. With embedded multiple case study design, it's similar. So let's say case 1, case 2, and case 4. Now, as you know from the previous single case embedded research design, in embedded research design, you focus on certain subunits of that case. So in case 1, you want to focus on, let's say, subunit 1, 2, and 3. Similarly, with case 2, within that case, you want to focus on subunit 1, subunit 2, and subunit 3. Similarly, with this case 4. So when you are collecting the data, you are specifically, obviously understanding it holistically, but you are specifically focusing on these subunits to understand, explore this case. And then you do the same with these individual cases. And then as you do in the holistic analysis, since you have access to multiple cases, you do comparative analysis. So embedded research design becomes a little bit more complex because of you are adding these extra subunits that you are focusing on. So it becomes a little bit more complex as compared to holistic multiple case research design. Let's take the same example. Let's say I want to explore a health program being implemented in different counties, and I can start with county 1, 2, 3, 4, and each district are my case. And in each case, within each county, I can focus on, let's say, I can focus on providers. So providers are the one who are delivering the services to the individuals, to the people living in that county. And then coordinators. Coordinators are those who are coordinating with the provider and the people who are getting the services. And finally, the people who are getting the services, so people living in that county who are availing the services. So you have 3 subunits. So in your case study, which is which also include comparative analysis, what you are doing in each case, in each county, you may collect data such as you can interview providers, coordinators, people. You can also collect other kind of data such as the quantitative data showing how many services were delivered, what were the frequency of the services, what kind of services were delivered, and how many people will avail those services, so all quantitative data as well. And then you can observe and interview these 3 subunits to collect all the data. And then you analyze this data from these 3 perspectives for each case separately. And after you have done with each cases, then you do another analysis, which is comparative analysis. So that's multiple case holistic research design, multiple case embedded research design. Some of the strength of this case design is it requires more resources because you are doing multiple cases. So more resources to conduct the study, and also more time because you are doing multiple cases, so multiple interviews, all those analysis and all that. So more time and more resources. Another important thing to keep in mind is these multiple cases are like multiple experiments. What do I mean here? Multiple experiments. So think about if a researcher is conducting a study, and then you have your findings from that experiment. And then you replicate the study, another experiment, and you are doing the same study, same experiment, and you are replicating and seeing whether you are getting the same finding or any differences. And then you do another experiment. So these multiple cases are not sampling, they are multiple replication of the study. And that is why we call it multiple experiments. So when you are doing multiple case studies, take each case as a separate experiment that you are doing. And then the other cases are sort of a replication of what you are trying to explore. And then you engage in a comparative analysis across these different cases. So sometimes, people look at these multiple cases like a sampling. Is it like, okay, I'm doing I'm interviewing 5 people, 5 cases, and I'm sampling 5 people for this study? No, you are not sampling it. They are independent cases, and they are like replication of your cases to understand each case separately and then being engaged in comparative analysis. So these multiple cases are like multiple experiments, and in a way, it's like a replication of the study. So as a researcher, as a case study researcher, think at your multiple cases from this lens rather than a sampling process. Further, these holistic and embedded design in multiple case design can be further defined by your approach to your study. So for instance, I could say that, let's say if I'm doing a holistic multiple case research design, I can adopt an approach of exploratory approach. Exploratory approach. As you know, that exploratory approach is more sort of when you don't know much about the case, so you have a stance, you have an approach of exploratory approach. So your research questions are more open-ended questions. You want to understand something that in a more open-ended way, like take the same example that I took previously, is like, what is the experience of service providers in implementing the healthcare program? What is their experience, how they perceive, and similarly with these. So more exploratory approach. And if you are doing an exploratory approach, so you can call your study exploratory multiple case holistic research design, or exploratory multiple case embedded research design, case study research design. Further, you can, instead of having exploratory, you can also use an approach which is explanatory. Explanatory approach is you are trying to explain relationship between cases, or explain some research questions, which is more sort of understanding the relationship between variables in the cases. So I could say, like, what is the relationship between student motivation and student academic achievement? So let's say if my cases are multiple students, so then this explanatory is more, can help me understand relationship between variables. So explanatory case studies are more focused on understanding relationship between various variables within that case or across the cases if you are using multiple case research design. So exploratory approach, explanatory approach, and the third one is descriptive approach. Descriptive approach is again focused more on describing the phenomenon, the case in detail. So your approach is more on description rather than finding relationship between variables. So Coming back to multiple case study research design, you can have it holistic or embedded. And then within holistic and embedded research design, you can adopt exploratory approach, explanatory approach, or descriptive approach when you are exploring these cases. I hope this explanation has given you some idea at least to how multiple case research design looks like in case study research. That's it for today. I'll see you in another video talking about another research design in case study. Thank you very much and have a good rest of the day. See you soon.